Well, hello there, Brandon. How you doing?
Hello. I am alive, not pre-recorded. Freshly escaped from Bilbrey's basement, but I don't have a copy of today's newspaper to prove it, so...
I was going to say, can you hold up today's newspaper?
Yeah, they're just going to take my word for it.
Lenny said that if we can make a membership target for like $199 or pounds, I guess, since he's over in Scotland, but we can make a membership for like the Brandon group, and if he enters that, then he gets all Brandon all the time. And I was
constant.
Okay, we can do that. Yeah, right.
Oh god,
that's hilarious. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 118th episode of the Political Spotlight, and we're your hosts, Kristopher Bilbrey and Brandon Rudd. We're here. Obviously, Kate is down in the duck doing her thing, running the comments and the banners. Let's see here. I am not a bot, but seriously, Randolph County. What did he say? Seriously, Randolph County people, any of y'all have shenanigans at your house already tonight? That's probably a very, very good possibility. Who knows what goes on in Randolph County? Thank God I'm not there anymore. I'm over here in the more civilized Delaware County. So we've got a really big guest for you all tonight. This is going to be a big show. You'll recall a couple weeks ago when I was running like extremely late and we didn't have a thumbnail and we didn't have a description and we just went live. And it was really wild, but it ended up being a good show. It was because I had went to hear a presentation and I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, in the presentation, I had been invited to this presentation, and it was things that I'm very concerned about and things that we talk about here on the show a lot. Obviously, solar issues, wind issues, green energy stuff, issues going on with farmland here in Indiana and, of course, in America. And then kind of creeping into maybe why those things are going on. Also talking about the Indiana LEAP project and talking about the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, the IEDC, that very interesting group. But I went to listen to a presentation by a gentleman, and we actually were able to get that up. We've put that out for you guys to see it. It was a great presentation. And I'm telling you, the whole thing was great. But in the last 30 minutes of this presentation, I was on fire. This guy lit me up. I was excited, and I've actually went back and watched the presentation a couple times, and I've talked to a couple of you, and I thought, man, it'd be good to get him on. And so we're going to be welcoming to the show Mr. Jon Schrock, Pastor Jon Schrock. Hello, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, well, we are doing fantastic, and we're glad that you're here, and happy to be talking with you. And I guess just right off the bat, I want to you've got some pretty big news that's a big change. But before we get there, if you could just give the guests or the audience that might not know who you are, give them a little bit of biography about who you are and why they might be interested to hear from you.
Well, as a native Hoosier, born and raised here, then served in the United States Marine Corps. God called me away. I got the opportunity to serve as a police officer, United States Marine, also a pastor in Washington State and North Carolina. God has weaved a network together for me and exposed truth. And then taking the truth, taking what I've built here in the state of Indiana, meetings like what we had up there in Delaware County, and in order to be able to take the real voices of Hoosiers and express those to the people that need to hear them. We've done that at the State House. We had the State Legislative Action Day last Tuesday. We were able to get truth to power and be able to have meaningful conversations with those that are in power right now, those that are in the positions of authority. We elected them there. And what we want to have happen is them to respond to it. It's a pretty interesting thing to know that the Senate Appropriations Chairman does know that the law does state that there are 3 people that can go and take any appropriation of the state of Indiana from any fund except for a trust fund, any appropriation, and they can go and put it to the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. It's any of, not for the state of Indiana. They've got to change it. And guess what? We've got to have that to happen. We're going to continue exposing corruption. We're going to proclaim truth. I say that I dispel myths and I prove truth. That's what we're going to be doing, and we're going to do it till kingdom come.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. And I'm almost convinced that anything tied hey, economic development is important, and making your city and your county and your town and the community and the state, better is good. But I'm almost convinced in government, anything tied to the phrase economic development is always just some kind of icky, behind the scenes kind of gross thing, because we've been dealing with that in our area here, where of course the edit fund, the economic development fund, the tax fund that our local governments have really been used for some very bizarre things. And it's interesting that happens at the state level and onward. So I'm really interested in that. And like I said, definitely glad to have you. You've also, along with your biography and what you've been doing, going around and speaking and doing all of that, you have added something new to your list. And want to tell the people what that is?
Well, what I'm going to be doing, I've announced my candidacy for the 8th Congressional District here in the state of Indiana. I'm going to be going to Washington, D.C. with the real voices of Hoosiers down to the D.C. swamp. They need to hear directly from Hoosiers. Going to live here in the state of Indiana, not moving over there to Washington, D.C. I've got 10 reasons back here at the house for me to stay here in the state of Indiana. I love my Hoosier state. I was born here. I'm a native Hoosier. I'm going to go down to work, and I'm going to work for the people. Then I'm going to come back. I'm a representative, and I'm going to talk to them, the people, and then I'm going to tell your real stories to those down at Congress where they need to hear it, because we've got a lot of work to do. You hit the nail on the head about that economic development thing. Next time I hear economic development, it causes me to be it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. I mean, and I know that's probably not the most congressional way to put it, but this is dangerous stuff. They are bringing stuff into our state under the Trojan horse of economic development. What I'm trying to do, what I have a plan to do, is unleashing economic potential. But that goes back into the people. We've got to get the government to slash red tape so that we can promote business. We've got to get rid of this administrative state, because what's happening is strangulating our business owners.
Absolutely.
Yep. So it's interesting. You've been up to Delaware County. You've been pretty much hitting the whole state, or where all have you been speaking on this?
Wow, I've had a wonderful opportunity to get around the state. I don't remember as how many counties that I've been in. It's been so busy. I know I've been in western counties. I've been in southern counties, northern counties. I remember I was in Elkhart County, Kosciuszko County, Delaware County, Marion County, Johnson County, Hendricks County, Fountain County, Warren County. Going to be in Newton County. Benton County is about to come on board. Anyways, the list goes on. I've been down in the southwest as well, hearing from farmers. What we've been doing is holding farmland conferences. That's what people were at there in Delaware County. And what we have to talk about is what's the boogeyman? Who is persona non grata in the state of Indiana? And folks, I've got the solution. I know who it is. It's the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. They're over in Abu Dhabi spending our taxpayer dollars asking for this nonsense to come to the state of Indiana. LEAP projects. They want more of these, 100 million gallons a day. They think that this is just a trifling amount of water. They're going to collapse wells. Then they're going to go and bury carbon dioxide. I love carbon dioxide when it's in the air. It's kind of like water. I got my glass of water over here. It's fantastic to have water in the tummy, but when it gets in the lungs, when it's in the wrong place, it's deadly. It's the same thing with carbon dioxide, my friends. And we've got to get that truth out there to people. It needs to stay in the air. We need more of it. This climate hoax that it's a climate theology. It's a new theology. It's a demonic theology that we have on hand. And they're worshiping not the true God. They're worshiping the creation, not the creator. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to identify the boogeyman. There's a lot of federal funds coming into the state of Indiana. Then there's some dark money that's coming into the state of Indiana. I barely got into it in the farmland conference. I need to do a 2.0 or a 3.1 or something like that. And talking about the Indiana Economic Development Foundation. Because what that is some really dark money that's coming in, and we have like no oversight of it. So it's that no accountability. And darkness thrives in no accountability. Evil thrives. Let's bring sunlight. It's a wonderful way to disinfect evil. Is sunlight and transparency. And that's what we have to have, because that's why I'm running. And that's why I'm going to continue doing it, continuing on with the farmland conferences. I'm not changing anything. I just have a different platform.
Good. I wondered if that would change over, because I think you have such an important message. And I think one of the interesting things is, I'm not very good at kind of guesstimating numbers, but I think that there was a pretty nice crowd at the Delaware County event that you were at. I talked to a couple people, and they were saying that they thought that there was probably well over 100 people there. And are you getting a good turnout when you're going around? I mean, is that what you're finding? When you're talking to just the everyday citizens around the state, are you finding that they are just completely oblivious to this? Are you finding that they are interested and they're, invested in what you're saying? Or, how's that going?
The response has been absolutely amazing. The numbers have varied. We had a lunch and learn up in Jasper County. We had 17 there, but it was a lunch and learn. I don't personally, the metrics that I look at is not how big is the crowd. I like the response. And when I say the response out of the crowd, do they contact their legislator? Do they get down to the next county commission meeting? Do they go to the BZA meeting? What do they do? I had the opportunity to talk about election integrity, down in Knoxville, Tennessee, at Cotton Eye Joe's. 1,500 people. I'm telling you, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. People chanting USA, people talking about, make America great again, those kind of things. But I'll tell you, I got nothing out of it. When I say nothing out of it, nobody contacted their legislator. Nobody showed up at the Knox County Commission meeting. Nobody, did anything. They just sat there. They walked away. They had a great rally. It was about 3 weeks later, and we had 8 people about 20 minutes south of Knoxville, and they got us in front of the lieutenant governor. They got us in front of the Secretary of State. They got us in front of the the chairs of the House and Senate that dealt with election issues. They were able to be meaningfully involved. That's what I called a win. And that's when I said, you know what, God, it's not it's not a matter of how big the crowd is. It's the quality of it. And that's what I'm looking for. Because when I talk about the fact that I want to have accountability, we've got a freedom index that's out there, and people can find it at freedomindex.org. And it holds the legislators, the U.S. legislators, accountable. What it holds them accountable to is actually the playbook of our constitutional republic. It's the Constitution of the United States. And it holds them accountable to that. I want you researching that. I want you looking at the Freedom Index. I want that sent to my office. I want you educated going, hey, you voted correctly. Hey, the communication back and forth. It doesn't stop because election day comes and I'll see you at the next campaign fundraiser. It continues, fostering an open communication, because we've got CCP China coming in to our country. A lot of people talk about this fact of they're trying this new marketing thing. It absolutely makes me sick to my stomach. They're trying to do this new marketing thing about talking about its land rights. Farmers have the opportunity to put solar farms on their property because of land rights. Well, hold on a second. Let's rewind the tape and throw the Jake break on and look back to 1776. So if you go and house the British troops in your house, yeah, you've got property rights.
Right.
I agree you have property rights, and we will expose you for being part of the problem. You housed the British during the Revolutionary War. We are right now in the middle of a 5th generation war. It's an informational war. And guess what's going to happen? You sign a contract with CCP China. You do know that all of the solar parts are from Communist Chinese Party. And what we're finding is it's a front organization who then signs the land use agreement, who then sells the land use agreement. I talked to a East Central Illinois land person over there in the county in East Central Illinois, and she said the solar farms are now owned by CCP China. So you better believe it. We're going to say is you're housing the British.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was the British are coming. The British are coming. That's what Paul Revere said. And guess what I'm saying is the communists are coming. The communists are coming. And I've got 10 reasons back at the house, 10 youngins that God has given me and my wife that we want to raise in a constitutional republic. You say, John, is this over the top? No, it's not over the top. We're just getting started. It's only 9:20, folks. We're just beginning. Just beginning.
Just winding up.
What
I'm gonna get a drink of water. Hopefully,
you're
into
fine.
the right spot.
It amazed me. Brandon and I went to listen to some candidates. Man, was that the last election or was that 2 elections ago? I can't remember, but they brought up the idea of carbon sequestration.
Oh, that's the last one. Yeah.
We were in a we were in a very heavy agricultural county, and all of the
candidates, lot of our district.
Yeah,
almost our entire district is heavy agriculture.
Yeah, absolutely. And they brought up this question, and it was interesting that nobody really seemed to know what it was that they were talking about. And one of the guys that's running, that's currently an elected official, he's supposedly a farmer, and he got up there and he like fumbled all over it. And I still, honestly, I don't really know where he stands on the carbon sequestration, the thought of it, but he's running again for re-election. And, you know, he's just one of these Republicans that doesn't do anything, that goes there and, you know, runs around every 2 years and says, hey, we'd like your vote. And then he goes, you know, when he inevitably wins because he's got the R behind his name and, you know, he does what he's told. then it's just another 2 years of nothingness and doing what he wants that furthers his agenda and the state Republican agenda. And it's hard to get people. I don't know what, I mean, people are there. Everyone else is seeing the same things that we're all seeing, but it's hard to get them engaged and get them active in getting out and making a change. And it's just, that's the frustrating part of getting this going, and, finding people that are intelligent enough, meaning they understand the issues at hand and they know who the good and the bad is, and being able to stand on the side of the good. And I just, it's interesting. What are you seeing, and how do you combat that? I mean, like I said, again, your message to me, it seemed like it really fired the crowd up, and there were a lot of like-minded people there. But just how are you dealing with the other side of that? The people that are very lazy-minded, or just what's going on with that? How do we fight back against that?
Well, a couple of things that I've found to be true. I'll go back to my pastor day and age. Put my pastor hat on. We can do confessional later, and we can do that. I can go in the booth and we can have you confess your sins. I'm just playing around. Probably shouldn't do that. They say it's not a good idea, but you'll find out I'm a real guy. I mean, folks, right. You're sending a real guy down to Congress. That's what I am. Just a real guy. I love my hobby farm, got the chickens, got the, the heat lamp out on the chickens right now. Had to get out there in the, 0 degree, 17 below wind chill with my 15-year-old daughter. I'm sitting there shivering away. Folks, it's real. That's what I want to be doing. But the calling of God is upon me in order to be able to do this. But what I found, back to your question, is that people, if they don't understand, people, if they're educated, naturally become empowered. But here's the thing that we're facing right now, is that there's a lot of people that don't know what's going on. They know something's off, but there's a lot of the things that we talk about. I mean, as you were sitting there on it at the meeting, and I would say words like Agenda 2030. We're all told, John, that's conspiracy theory. I mean, maybe we've got sound effects. Maybe we can do, some spooky music or something like that. And but it's on the UN website,
right?
John, when you mention is the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, John, that you lost me. You seem like a good guy. You're a Christian. You're pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, people first kind of guy. But I don't buy into conspiracy theories, except for you go to the UN website and it's right there. So what we're dealing with is publicly available information, just not publicly known. We've got all the data. Table 34 of the Kinsey report of the sexuality of the human male. His report, Alfred Kinsey, the debauched human being that he was, stated that he molested a child for 24 hours straight to find out how many orgasms the young man could have.
Jesus.
24 hours. It's publicly available information. It's in his book. This is his research. And I've got to give air quotes for that, because that's not research.
Right.
That's molestation. That's abuse.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And what we have that's publicly available, but if we say it, we can't have that. Because that's been told to us, that's boogeyman stuff. It's publicly available. I'm just showing to you, it might be the first time, but we have to have. So I work off of 3 things as a pastor: educate, empower, and they will become engaged. Too many times we try to get them engaged. We're going to get them engaged. We'll get them engaged. We're going to get them engaged. And I like that. That's putting action to it. Faith without works is dead. You're going to hear a lot of Bible and military references from me. You can kind of tell my background. But what's happening they have to be educated. They have to know, to be able to stand up and to be able to tell truth to power, to be able to sit with elected officials and servants and tell them the truth. And IC4 right now in the state of Indiana, the IEDC can take any appropriation. It's 3 people that can give any appropriation to the IEDC. It's truth. You have to make them read it slow, read it again, look at it again. and see the wording of it, and then to hear them go, man, we've got to change that. Well, the question is, are they going to change it? That's what I want to know. Are they going to change it? So we need the people holding the feet to the fire. We, the people. They can find it. They can find legislative scorecards, state legislator scorecards at freedomindex.org. What a wonderful way for you to be educated. And once you're educated about it, you'll naturally become empowered. And once you're empowered, you're going to feel that you can become engaged. It's like when I was playing basketball. I learned from my grandfather the way to be able to, make that a shot. You go up and you let he's like, hold that right there. He was part of the Paris, Illinois. They won the Illinois State Championship. Paris, Illinois did. My grandfather was on the on that winning team, and he was telling me, and he educated me how to make the shot. Well, then I felt empowered. Of course, I was back out there on the basketball court. I was now educated. I felt empowered, and I got engaged. But folks, there's a lot of truth out there, known information, and I will tell you, I will warn you, it's scary. Mm-hmm. I was just watching a video yesterday evening in Evansville, trying to start visiting out in my district, and was watching a video from Mark and Amber Archer about dysphoria. I mean, they were talking that transsexual stuff and the crazy hypersexualization that's going on. And they had this part in there that there's literally a group out there asking kids 10 to 14 years old to come and upload their brain to the cloud for transhumanism. And then, it's so cute. They say so cute words. The marketing is despicable. They say they're going to recycle their body to the earth. And they're going to live forever because all they are is information. Folks, there's some hard truths that we're going to have to understand so that we can become educated, so we'll get empowered, so that we can engage against this. You say, man, John, this is tough stuff to stomach. You better believe it. You better I love probably the best meme I saw around New Year's Day was you need to get your Bible and your favorite conspiracy theorist next to you because you're going to need both this year.
That's absolutely true. And I mean, that's just, that's shocking. And what I find the problem is, and I know, we talk about this a lot, is I call it toxic positivity. Mm-hmm. What we have around here locally is this feeling like, we know the people that are on the city and county council. They're our friend. They're the people that go, they come, they go to my church. We see them going to the basketball game on Friday night. Or, now we've elected somebody from the county council to the state house, state representative so-and-so, state senator so-and-so. They're good people. And they may or may not be good people, but the problem is they're not making any actions. And so when people call them out, then we're the bad guy, because how dare we call out, Representative so-and-so from District 33 or Representative, so-and-so from District 34, because they are good people. Well, when they're them. Yeah, you're criticizing them. You're being negative. How dare you be negative? And it's like, wait a minute. When they are not doing anything to fight against this, that's what government is, holding their feet to the fire. Yeah. And it's hard to pick up steam. And that's what we focus on here about so much, is the education, because when you find out that these people are not doing the things that their constituents are wanting them to do, and they're just sitting idly by as this is happening, it's easier to then say, okay, they might be good, we can be friends with them, but I don't want them representing me anymore. And we're having
I love Ryan. Sorry to interrupt you. They're called good people by people who don't even know them.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yes, that is exactly true. And so it's breaking through that and getting people, I guess, as frustrated as we are with what's happening, so that they are able to prod these people along or get them the heck out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, and go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, and I like your message about having people be involved. I mean, you often hear like if you don't vote, you can't complain. And I believe you said if you're not down at the state house testifying, don't complain. And I agree. People need to be involved. We often have issues here as well where we kind of fight to be involved in that when there's legislative updates, they don't want to advertise them to let you know where and when they are. We've had police call on us for trying to videotape them so we can share the video with the community. It's a battle around here.
Well, I'm
So,
fighting a battle across the state of Indiana. It's not just one county.
Yeah,
I know that, there's been those, that it was made famous by Trump, drain the swamp, but then others have used it. And then people are like, well, the swamp's down at the State House, the swamp's down at DC, got to get down there. I've already been contacted by people. My phone's blowing up. I've got it on the charger because I wore out my battery like 3 times today. And people are like, are you going to go down to DC and drain the swamp? And I said, well, let me explain what the swamp is. It's people that are idle. That's what a swamp is. It's idle water.
mm-hmm.
We've got a force that's coming against us. It was in 2020 that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo talked to the governors and warned them of what CCP China was going to do. We knew it. We knew the truth. And we're watching it play out. But people that want to sit in idleness, there are evil actors in the world. We can see with what I just said to you about they want children to upload their brain. They want them to kill themselves. Why are they targeting 10 to 14-year-olds? I've got a couple in that age range as being a father of 10. They're trying to figure life out. What's up? What's down? What's left? What's right? Mm-hmm. Their hormones are starting to kick in and things are happening and they're trying to make a decision of, oh, I want to go and upload my brain.
Yeah.
They don't need to be making those decisions. They need to be making decisions about which erector set they want to buy, the deluxe version or the basic version.
Right.
But we're asking them to make crazy. And instead of being proactive against this, because it's evil, and the only way in order to squelch evil is proactivity. You've got a swamp inside your county. Every single one of the 92 counties. Every single one. Yes, I'm talking about the one I live in. Yes, I'm talking about the one you live in. Yes, I'm talking about the other one that you're like, there's no possible way. I'm telling you, we have a swamp. It's not only in politics, it's also in churches. That all they want to do is sit there and be stagnant. Well, what I'm looking to do is continue to proclaim truth because lives are at stake. Food. If I were to turn sideways and show you a cross view of me, you would see that I love me some food. Well, guess what? If we have too many solar farms, we don't have food. If we put carbon sequestration in, we're going to burn the ground with carbonic acid. If we allow this LEAP project to go through, man, they filed that bill and the bill does nothing. It's a big nothing burger. It's dripping with nothingness out of the bill that was filed in order to throttle or stop, or I don't remember what term they did. It's nothingness. It creates an avenue for them to have a way to make some money off of it. They're going to fill the coffers of the state of Indiana for this a permit so that we can tell them, sure, by the way, just go ahead.
Yeah.
No, what we the people with a resounding unified voice said, stop the LEAP project.
Yeah.
Stop. It's a dirty 4-letter word. It's that S word. Stop.
Yeah.
All they did was throttle. Just throttle it. That's swampy. How dare you file that bill? People went out and spoke and communicated. Well, it's all that we can get past, John. No, it's not all that you can get past. It's all that you will pass. Because if we go and file the bill and then we hold their feet to the fire, but as you say, then they go about and they start talking about the fact is, oh, you can't talk negative about him. Why are you such a negative Nancy? It's not really negative when you're warning people about truth. Because
Yeah.
can you imagine being responsible if a busload of kids were going towards a bridge that was out, and I didn't do everything humanly possible? I should be screaming at the top of my lungs, stop, stop, stop. Calling out the bus driver. He's going towards a cliff. How dare he go towards a cliff? Well, call him out on Twitter, calling him out on Facebook, calling him out on podcasts, and calling them out, and doing that over and over because there's an emergency. I don't want you walking in my house in the middle of the night. I'm in bed, I'm in my jammies and things like that. But if my house is on fire, come beat the door down, kick that bad boy in because it's an emergency, and scream at the top of your lungs, Schrock, get out the house. That's what we must do. But we don't understand there is an emergency.
Yeah.
We'll go around the state of Indiana. We'll continue the farmland conferences. I was looking at. I've not quite got them done. We'll get them up on my Pastor John Facebook page. We've got 3 more that I get up. We're going to be in Fountain County, Newton County, and Marion County again. We're bringing the truth back, and we're going to talk about these issues. They're tough issues. It's tough to wrap your mind around that somebody is so diabolical that they're willing, as the WEF has stated, by and large, we're willing to have people die in order to achieve our goals.
I don't know what else can be said when you're willing to say that. That's basically, that's it. I mean, they're putting it all there. That's crazy.
What else do you say after that? I mean, it's tough. I mean, what more of a mic drop moment do we need? They did the mic drop moment, and we all sit there and go, well, that's where, but we are painted as being, we talked rude. We're talked about, then they bring in the intersectionality. They bring in all these things that what I'm doing. We're getting all sorts of feedback of what we're doing, and we're causing problems. And, you don't understand. Guess what? We're beginning to ramp it up because we're not going to have this craziness in the state of Indiana.
Well, don't cause problems. It's supposed to just be easy peasy for them. They just let stuff flow through and don't fight.
Go along to get along.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Why are you causing problems?
Right. Well, and I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was Brandon. I can't remember now. But, you think about this. We're right now in Indiana. We've got a super majority, a super duper majority. We've got a Republican governor. We've got a Republican Senate. We've got a Republican state house, like by large numbers. And what's amazing to me is every 2 years, the state representatives come around and they say, well, this is what our platform is, and this is what we want to do. Elect us. Well, I don't know who said it, but okay, you've got the super majority. If this is what you're wanting to do, we've elected you. Go and do it. Get it all done, and then when you come back, have a different plan. These people have had the same plan for 10 or 15 years. They keep running on the same things. They get elected, and then they do nothing, and then they come back and run. It's like no one's stopping you from doing anything, and so it's just that malaise that is also kind of an issue. And it's so infuriating. That it's like if these people really wanted to get something done, if we elected somebody and we said, okay, Scott Alexander, JD Prescott, we want you to, fight this. We want you to do this. And here's what's going to happen. If you don't do it, don't come back next. Don't file to run for re-election because we will beat you off the ballot. And, it does not happen.
But we have too many people that are willing to talk about that. And that's where I had to make the decision is I'm not only going to talk about it with a loud and resounding voice. I'm going to be part of the solution. I'm not just here to be a squeaky wheel. I'm here to provide solutions. Sit down at a table, and we're going to talk through how do we dismantle the Indiana Economic Development Corporation? How do we dismantle this crazy ideology, this hypersexualization that's coming into the state of Indiana? How do we dismantle this crazy we don't have election integrity? How do we do that? Why do we have so many people that don't even trust in the election election process anymore. How do we go about doing this? It's not just about here's the problem and I don't want to do a solution. What we have is people that aren't willing to come to the table. I'm more than willing to meet at the table. Had meetings this past week with state organizations. I'm willing to have that. But here's where the problem is. It's go along to get along. Yeah. No, I'm here to fix the problem. You don't have in your policies as a state organization against carbon sequestration because your members haven't voted it in. Guess what? You need to lobby your members in order to change your policies. Exactly. But you talk about these names. If you go to the radicalpulpit.com and you go to Indiana and drop down to state legislator scorecard, you can go and see when we got the state legislator scorecards, and you see that 63% of Republican senators scored less than 50%.
Oh, wow. Well, it doesn't really surprise me, actually, but it's sad. It's startling it's that low, but
84% of Republican reps scored less than 50%. Oh. And we're going across, here's what we're looking at. And people are like, no. I mean, and they start looking at these things and who publishes them. And well, here's the beliefs that we go off of. One, the Constitution. Then there's 5 beliefs. One, that we're a constitutional republic. Have I lost anybody so far? I mean, are people jumping off the ship yet? Constitutional republic, craziness. Absolutely. To the republic for which it stands. You're not to the democracy, constitutional republic. Then secondly, we believe that the family is the most vital unit of society. Anybody jumping off the train yet? I mean, is it a bridge too far? We believe in a free market. We believe that people are supposed to be judged by their character and their abilities, and we just wish to be judged the same way. Our character and our abilities. That's it. And then lastly, rights come from God, not from the government. And you would be amazed when you go and look through that lens, that rubric, and you look through that lens and you look at it and then see the bills that we're talking about. That's why these reps and senators are scoring so low. Well, what about the, I'm talking the state level, because a lot of this happens, and this is what I'm hearing from people up and down the state of Indiana and up and down the 8th district. And then they say, well, what about my federal reps? How are they doing? I'm sure that I'm sure things are hunky dory there. I tell you, we've got a swamp in Indiana, and we have a swamp in DC. We've got a swamp in Illinois. We often, you've heard me mention there in Delaware County. I mentioned about how we always blame over here in Illinois. In the west part of, we blame Illinois. There's that Governor Pritzker. That guy's crazy. Him and his brother invested $3 billion in order to create a prosthetic uterus. We don't stand for that here in the state of Indiana. But it was our governor that was a 5-time keynote speaker to the World Economic Forum. Oh, by the way, that 10 to 14-year-olds that they're targeting was the World Economic Forum that's wanting kids to upload their brain. Folks, we're sounding the alarm, and we're going to have a fix for this. We're gonna lobby for the bills. I'm not just going to go down and talk about bills. It's not about talk about goodness. When we get to goodness, and all the wonderful things, folks, there's a battle on our hands. A battle for our future, a battle for our lives, a battle for the minds of our children. And we're going to push back against them. But I need your help. Absolutely. You need to become educated.
Yeah. That's I agree with that wholeheartily. And it's funny, we around here, our representatives are putting bills forward like making sure the state nickname of Indiana is Hoosier. Is there anybody that's questioning that?
It's like, really I'm like,
is that what we need to be worrying about? Are you for real? Like that just blows me away.
Well, I just checked the scorecard, and that representative's got a 50. So does my state senator, both at 50.
And
that's in that 50 or less category.
JD got a whole 50? Really?
Yeah. I'm amazed.
I'm impressed, actually. I figured he'd probably
he's-
be around 32.
He's up.
But he
was
is a Christian farmer, so maybe that
Well,
scores some
yes.
points.
Yeah. Well, he's up. He's actually up this year. Last year it was like in the low 40s, and it was in the 30s the year before. So he's improving, I guess.
I think there was an election in there that kind of pushed him. I think that maybe opponents maybe pushed him. You know, he had to act a little bit more to kind of nudge that off a little bit. But that's that's very scary. You know, you mentioned that Holcomb was a 5-time keynote speaker, and you mentioned that at the presentation. And I did not know that. I follow this stuff pretty closely. I did not know that. I am not a fan of our governor, our current governor. And that didn't surprise me. But, that's really, really telling. And I've been pushing that since I heard you say that and telling people. And I really want people to understand, when people act like this is not happening here, it's like, no, it's as here as it gets.
Yeah.
Well, we always think, like I said, we always think that things are happening elsewhere. When we were in the state of Washington, my family and I planting a church out there, it was being, we knew we had some contacts, and they were talking about in the state legislature of Washington, here on American soil. They were talking about they were going to make special needs children wards of the state. And this has a personal meaning to me because my oldest is autistic. He's given to me and my wife. He sees life in a wonderful way. He sees it in a different way. Statistics are his thing. He can go and be able to get the passers rating off the NFL, like in a New York Minute. But he's got other struggles. He's, doing well over here, and he struggles over here. He's not a ward of the state. He's a child of God.
Right.
And we're going to have that, and we're going to proclaim that. And you're like, that happens over there in Nazi Germany. Well, it doesn't happen over in Nazi Germany. We allowed it to happen in Nazi Germany.
That's
and
right.
Guess what? We're going to push back against it because we're not going to allow it here in the state of Indiana. We're not going to allow it in the United States of America. We've got to have people with a backbone willing to stand up, take the beating. I understand I'm going to take a beating for these things. These things are being watched. And I say, you know what? Disprove these things. These are publicly available things, just not publicly known.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I had a question for you. I'm kind of jumping back in time, but
Sure.
You obviously have a lot of issues that you're passionate about. I'm kind of curious what kind of got you into politics and what kind of made you decide to take this leap and run for Congress.
So I got involved. I've been involved since even as a child. I was a poll book holder back when we had paper poll books, something we need to get back to in the state of Indiana, across the United States of America. Paper poll books, not those things that can be hacked into. We don't need the hacker's paradise of e-poll books of that. So being involved in that, I remember people. There was a radio show that talked about the state legislature on the radio station, and it just piqued my interest and started getting involved. I served in different positions, different committees and boards and things like that. And then got involved as a pastor when we had the shutdown from the pandemic there in 2020 in Washington State. We had a draconian governor there. Everybody blamed him because he was a Democrat, and then I found out that Holcomb did the same thing, a Republican. It just across the state line in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, a blue Democrat did the exact same thing that a red governor did in Indiana. And I found out very quickly it was a uniparty going on. And so it was an ideology thing. Then I started looking in scripture and finding out that all of the tenets of communism are against the Bible. I can go through, we can talk about that at length sometime if you want to. And then so I started, getting more and more involved, started with working with the John Birch Society, became regional director of the area, proclaiming truth, activating people and getting truth out to people. Then it was Monday last week when we got the announcement that the incumbent was not going to seek re-election in the 8th district. And somebody said, "Hey, John, would you pray about it?" And I said, "I'll pray about it because, hey, somebody asked, I'll pray about it." And God began began growing the burden. Prayed and fasted over it. I said, Lord, this has to be something that you're in. It's got to be something that you want me to do. Started talking with my wife about it. I said, honey, it seems like there's a growing burden. What do you think? She began praying about it. And we both are firmly 110% into this. We are stepping into what God has called us to do in order to be able to spread truth and bring the people's voice to the DC area. I'm going to be able to take what I hear from people, be able to have a district staff that's responsive, a district staff that is going to be talking to people. Myself, I'm going to be out at the same festivals, and I'm still a person. I still love Apple Fest. I still love the Covered Bridge Festival. I still love those things, and be able to have open communication so that we can prioritize the constituents' needs. We've got to have that. And so then it's just a matter of simply saying yes. I said yes to the Lord in order to be a police officer. I said yes to the Lord for other areas to be a pastor, stepping away from the police department. And it was simply saying yes to the Lord.
That's powerful, and that's amazing. And I loved when you emailed and we were talking about changing your email. I was like, oh, this is amazing, because you've got a God-given gift of speech. I love that. I feel like you can fire people up, and I think that you will be good in that area, and I think that that's wonderful. We just need to continue waking people up. And when you and I talked about doing this interview, like any one of the areas, any sentence basically that you've said, we could spend a whole show on and talk for hours on anything that we've talked about here. And so it's kind of hard. And you and I talked about when we were talking about setting this up, about coming on and just kind of doing an overview and chit chat and keeping it kind of light, because it can be really heavy and it can be very monotonous for times. And specifically, if you're, a lot of the people that watch this, they're obviously involved, but we get new people, and this is about education and educating them in kind of an entertaining way and being, light about it. But that doesn't mean we will not talk about the heavy things, and we won't go hard into the paint on it. And, we definitely like to do that here. But, sometimes some of these things, like I said, can be very heavy. And I feel like people really need to start paying attention to that more, because it's going to be the future. And if we don't start preparing for that now, we're going to be in a world of hurt later on. And that's sooner rather than later, I think. But one of the things that we talked about, and I kind of want to hit on here, I know we're going a little bit long, and I don't want to keep you too late, but I want to talk about kind of the election integrity here at the state. You've mentioned it a couple different times, and if we can just kind of hit on that a little bit, and then we'd love to have you back on, and focus kind of more in detail on any number of those things. But talk to the audience about, how that affects Indiana and what we're dealing with and what we need to be looking for.
So we have across the United States. I've looked at the data of election integrity, and it's very telling. We've got to get down again. I talk about sitting down and having a conversation about it. We've got a lot of problems. What do we need to fix in this? We need to be able to sit down with about the IEDC. We need to have an LSA attorney sit down with us and be able to have a conversation, a man-to-man, with coffee, that conversation. And we walk through all of the titles of the Indiana code. And we need to talk about that. Well, with election integrity, we need to look at that, and we've got a bill that's in the number slipping my mind. It's filed by Representative Sweet, it calls for
1286.
1286. There we go. Thank you. So many numbers floating around in my head, and so files the bill, and I've already heard back. Well, John, that's going to take, if we go back to paper ballots hand counted, it's going to be weeks. Well, let's talk it through. Is it weeks, or is that a marketing ploy from those who just don't want to go to paper ballots?
Right.
how do we reduce that time? If you're concerned and we have a valid concern on that, do we need more people to come down to the courthouse to count ballots? Because I remember, and there was less people in the county at the time, so we need to know those numbers. Let's look at this, because right now we've got countries that non-American countries. I believe France is the country, and they do paper ballots, and does not take weeks; it's hours in order to get the vote back. I remember here in Fountain County. I'm from Fountain County, and I remember, and we're looking forward to getting Richland precinct in, then Kane, and then those precincts in. It didn't take hours, because my parents wouldn't let me out past midnight, and I saw multiple end of elections.
Yes,
but you know what we have to have. And you've heard me mention, we've got to hold the elected people accountable, the elected servants accountable.
Yeah.
I know that's probably going to earn me votes like on Super Warp. We have to hold the people accountable.
Yes.
You are getting the government you deserve.
Yes.
If you're not involved, I said it at Muncie, and I'm going to say it again. I'm tired of hearing the gripe and moaning and complaining when you're not involved. But John, does that mean that I have to take a day off in order to count ballots? Yes. Does that mean that I'm gonna well, John, I mean it requires training in order to be a ballot counter. Yes, I attend that as well. Well, John, I have to sign a non-disclosure and an ethics. I'm making up suppositions here, and I've got to do that. Well, yes, you do that, exactly. Because you being involved, it's high time that we stop handing to the elected servants and walking away, handing it to them and saying, see you at the next campaign event, and I'll give you money again. And we don't do anything. We are failing to touch government. That's a railroad reference. The button, we used to have to hit a button, a switch, if you will, and touch it in order to keep it running. We have to do it. What am I needing out of people? People are like, well, what are you expecting, John? The phones are blowing up now. John's running. Oh my goodness. I need you to help along the way. I need people to congregate together, and they need to become informed. They need to meet on a biweekly basis and read over bills. They need to call in to my office and to state legislators' offices and my office when come 2025 when I get sworn in. I need the communication. You're like, this doesn't sound like a normal campaign. Yeah, it's not. Because what we're experiencing right now is wrong.
Right.
It's not just off. It's not just weird. It's not just oopsie-daisy. I mean, there's whoopsie-daisies. Put too much cinnamon in the oatmeal this morning and, whoopsie-daisy. This is evil. That the people are being courted and trained to be outside of government. I'm going to use my platform to bring the people into their rightful place. Kind of like the Constitution says, the power is inherent in the people. Upon their backs was the government established. God's called me to be a position of, I'm an arm of the government, and I will bring them into the process. That's what we must do. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to empower. I, as the next congressman of the 8th district, have to empower, educate, empower, and get the people engaged. And I want every single congressman of all the 9 districts in the state of Indiana to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, did we just lose Kristopher?
Hey, he froze.
Cool. No, that's awesome. Have you? So when was it you announced exactly?
This afternoon, I sent out the email this afternoon to the some of the media places, and we are going to be releasing it more. Indiana8.com, INDIANA, numeral 8.com. It's been up on the ticker there, and the banner. So go there, and we can get more done. You're going to see more stuff rolling out. I tried to go down to the bank today. Hey, it's Martin Luther King Day. I found out it's a federal holiday, and tried to get a bank account to be able to set up. So we're going to be getting that, and we're going to be able to then get that up on the website. People can be able to do that. We're going to need people to all across the state of Indiana that hold the ideologies. People from other states, you need to volunteer. Contact us in order to volunteer. In order to make phone calls. We need you contacting every conservative media resource that you know. Big, little, get us on it. We're going to get it on the schedule, have a meaningful conversation like we are tonight in order to be able to do this and get it shared. We're getting the Facebook page. We're going to get the Twitter account. We're going to get all these pieces. And you're like, John, that sounds busy. And you got 10 kids. I've got a saint for a wife. My wife is a saint.
Nice.
And so we're going to be able to get that. So yeah, it was this afternoon. I don't remember the time that we pumped it out. We got the announcement out and hitting the ground running already. This has been amazing. The support of people, talking to people across the state of Indiana through the network that I've already built. This may be a stupid question, but what party are you running as? You got to be something. I'm a Republican on the Republican ticket on that. And so that's what I'll be running. We've got a lot of work to do in the Republican Party, by the way. It's high time that we drain the swamp of the Republican Party. We need people to run for precinct committeeman, by the way. You ask, what can you do? You need to run for precinct committeeman. You're like, what is that going to take? You go down to the county clerk's office, you fill out the form there, and you can be involved that way. How much time does that take? Some are telling me about 4 hours a year on average that you're going to be able to do. So something that you can be able to do on that. People need to run for delegate for the Republican convention. You're like, what's a Republican convention? Can I tell you the number of times that I've been cussed by Republican establishment that I go and educate people about the Republican convention?
They don't want people to know.
They don't want people to know. Republican establishment, hey, he's back. A Republican establishment don't want even people to know about the Republican convention. What a crying shame.
Yeah.
People need to be the delegate. Folks, that's who's going to be picking our lieutenant governor, our attorney general. These are the positions that they choose there. That's their primary, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to have people that hold our values, not the establishment's values. That's how we got to where we are at in the state of Indiana. The establishment of the state of Indiana, led by the Speaker Pro Tem and led by the Speaker of the House, are bringing that to the state of Indiana. Guess what? We got to get down to D.C. We got to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I think it sounds like, so Kate was asking what party you're running for, because for one, she said you sound kind of libertarian. But the question I was kind of scared to ask is, with how much you're pushing the party, I was curious how excited they are that you're running, I guess. I don't know if I should ask that question. You can ignore me if you want, but
is the party excited? I'm looking forward to talking to them. I've not gotten a phone call from the party or not from the party. I might be able to judge from past experience, but I'm not looking to make enemies. I'm looking to proclaim truth.
Yeah,
I like that. I think you said that you weren't. Maybe you were. You weren't running at the time. I don't know if you had thought about that or not, but I think you'd said something similar to that at the presentation, and I like that this does not have to be an adversarial position.
Nope.
Unless you're, I guess, the bad people. If you're the quote unquote enemy, if you're the evil, then it is an adversarial role. But that's more from their point of view than anything. But sorry about the hiccup there. I don't know what happened. I could still see myself. It was, you guys were all frozen, but so I don't know what all I missed there. But
we just badmouthed you for a couple minutes.
I figured that's what that was.
We talked about you while you were gone.
Yeah.
Just a few
Yeah.
things.
One of the questions that I saw here a while back, and I don't, if you've answered this or talked about this, then please forgive me. But one of the people asked if you, and I know the answer to this because I attended your presentation, and I know we've kind of danced around it, but we've not really said it. One of the commenters asked if you believe that we are heading towards a one world government, or if that's what they are pushing. And I know what your thought is on that, but if you could kind of answer your belief on that, what your thought is.
What I guess, and I will answer it this way: it's not what I believe. I'm talking about what they are talking about.
Yeah.
Is they are looking to go to a one world government. That's what that's what they are talking about. They want to get CBDCs. They want to get everything that's going towards a one world government. Yes, as the banner says, the Book of Revelation, a prophetic book, teaches that there is a one world government coming. Correct. It says that we're supposed to occupy until he comes as Christians. So we have a responsibility. It's not high time that we go and lean back and sit on our laurels or a blessed assurance. But it's time for us to be able to get out and get involved, because what we have, what this is, and we got to have pastors. You say, I go to church. I would love to come to your church. I preach. I can even give a message that's not political. I mean, seriously, like I know that's probably, where's that spooky music? But it is biblical truth. I've actually preached. I've got, messages. I studied the Word of God. I'm like, there it is. My theme song. I'm going to enter every time with that theme song. And talk about these things. And so we've got to have pastors talking truth. The truth of the Bible. We've got to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. We've got to get out there as Christians. We've got to get engaged. People are like, well, I know a pastor. If you know a pastor in the 8th Congressional District, I would love to get in there. If you know a pastor in another district, we're going to have to look at that and, play it through, exactly, on that. But we're still going to be out and about. I've got to get into the 8th District to meet more people in order to talk about this message. And I'm telling you, I've already, gone through and in the short time, it's been a week that I've even been considering this. 1 week. And God has answered very directly. That's why I'm in the race. And that's why I'm going to continue proclaiming truth. All that's changing is the fact that you could get to elect me in the 8th District to be the next congressman of the 8th District.
Absolutely. And I'll let Brandon ask you any kind of final questions he has and let you have the final word. But I just want to ask you, we've had you on for a while, and I want to thank you for being here. And you definitely have a family to get back to. And we would love to have you on again in the future, anytime that you would be available and want to come on, because there's a lot more to kind of dive in with you. But I just, I think it's really big. A message that we push here quite a bit, and I know Kate put it up, is something I say quite frequently, is the citizen is the most powerful position in government, whether that be local, state, or federal government. And it just seems like a lot of people don't know it. And I saw a meme the other day that said something to the effect of, I can't do anything alone, said 7 billion people. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really big. I wish people understood that. Yeah. But what really fired me up, and you talked about it a little bit just before we went haywire, was, this idea of citizens needing to be involved. We're talking about holding the government accountable, but we need to be held accountable. And not everybody is going to, create a show or do a podcast or go around and be speakers. People need to do what their strength is. If that's writing emails, if it's making phone calls, if it's sharing information on social media, you need to go to your strength. But it is time that we get involved, and we have to stop sitting back and waiting for someone else to do it. And you also said the phrase that Reagan said, I think it's the 9 most scary words, is I'm from the government. I'm here to help.
I'm here to help you.
And it's like, no, nobody's coming. Obviously not speaking religiously, but politically, no one's coming to save us.
That's right.
And, if you're not doing it and you're not invested, then, you might as well just say, okay, I give up. But, and I don't want people to do that. So just, I guess just in ending, if you could just give a little bit of a message more about, the importance of you feeling about people needing to get involved and whatever. And then Brandon can ask whatever he says and you can go out on your last word. But I feel very strongly about people needing to know that, it's time.
So it may resonate with you. What I'm saying may be, as you, to use your word, it may fill you with hope. It may fill you to be spurred to the next step. And you say, Jon, you're the kind of guy. Can I tell you what I need when I get down to DC? What I need is what's considered political fuel, political fire. Yes. Which is you as the citizen being involved. You talked about making phone calls. You talked about several things, making phone calls, emails, things like that. And yes, we need that. And we need to have that. You need to be at your county commission meetings. You need to be at your county council meetings. You need to be interconnecting. You need to be introducing people. You're like, hey, I was watching the political spotlight tonight, and I heard from a candidate for the 8th Congressional District, or if you have another candidate on, I heard about these candidates. It's not just about me. You heard about this candidate talking at the Piggly Wiggly, talking about all of these, every place that you go, the coffee shop, saying, hey, I heard about this. Hey, would you check this guy out? We're going to be getting the cards. You need to donate to campaigns in order for them to be up there, get their palm cards, in order to get those signs. You need to be willing to put them up in your yard. You need to be willing to put them on the back of your truck in order to get mobile signs. You need all of these pieces because, God has given the ability and the gifting to energize people, but I'm energizing you to a purpose. So then I can get stuff done there in DC. That's how I'm going to get it done, is because your involvement, your connection with me, to build that connection, to build, that's why I'm going to be working not only with the campaign staff that we are accountable, but with the office staff that we are accountable. We are accountable too. You chose us to put us into office. We have a high responsibility, a fiduciary responsibility to you. And we talk about that a lot. However, you have a fiduciary responsibility to me. Yes. To help me push forward the constitutional republic, to push forward a pro-life stance, to stop the radical hypersexualization of children, to establish election integrity. I can then go and talk to my fellow congressmen and women and say, I'm hearing thousands of Hoosiers crying for this. We must get this done. That's what I need. That's what I have to have. I need liberty groups started up and down the 8th district. In all the 9 districts, we need liberty groups connecting, not only with the U.S. Congressional, that's important, with this Indiana House, with the Indiana Senate, with the governor's office, and all of these pieces. So then we can go with the political fuel, because we're up against dark money. Billions of dollars are used for paid lobbyists. Mm-hmm. But boy, that voice of the people, it's pure. It resounds and it proclaims that they want truth. And guess what? The people win.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's the 8th district. Yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here's the map of Indiana. Obviously, Indianapolis is here. It's a little dark. Indianapolis is here. Here's the 8th district. So he's going to be Evansville at the bottom, on up past Terre Haute, on up to I-74 there at the very northern top. So that's kind of a picture there of his district. But Yeah, I absolutely. I think that's very important. Brandon, you have any final thoughts for him?
Yeah, I just want to say I like the idea of, and we often say that these people are public servants,
Mhm.
but you also mentioned you need help. Like you can't do it if you don't know what we want you to do. I'm definitely, we need to definitely, I don't know, steal it, but I love the idea of pushing for people to run as delegates and
Mhm.
precinct chairs.
Mhm.
Um, that's definitely awesome. I've always I've always wanted to get jury duty. I'm an insane person. I've gotten that survey like 3 times now, and I get so pumped. I'm like, "Oh, yes, we get jury duty." And I've never gotten it, but it's like it's kinda like your public duty, you know, to do these things, to serve and be part of the process. So, I just wanna say I like all those things you're saying. I'm glad your family's on board because I know that's really important. It's gonna be a lot
Mhm.
of work. It's gonna take a lot of time. So, just want to say that's awesome that you're running and good luck. So
Wow, thank you so much. Yes, I am so blessed. Wouldn't be running if my wife wasn't behind it.
yeah,
Um, I was like, if she's not 110% behind this, I'm not doing it. And so we're going to be out there. You're going to see more of us and getting this out there. Look forward to coming back on. Let's be in
Absolutely.
contact, and we're going to have some more fun, and we're going to
Yeah.
tell some more truth and empower some more people.
Absolutely. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Mr. Pastor Jon Schrock, candidate now for the 8th Congressional District in Indiana's southwestern corner. Very, very big, important decision that he has come to here recently. You can find out more from him, and you can connect with him on social media at Pastor Jon Schrock. We've put that there. You can go to the Radical Pulpit at theradicalpulpit.com. You can also find out more about his campaign at indiana8th.com and check out all of the information there. And then, of course, you can email him, Jon Schrock, at campaign at indianas8th.com.
It'd be hey, not to correct you on that. So
Yeah.
don't do Jon Schrock at it's
No.
campaign
Yeah.
at indiana8th.com.
Yeah, I said that
At
wrong.
indiana8th.com. They're going to
Yeah,
be getting
it was
all these
just me.
rejections.
Yes. It's campaign at indiana8th.com.
There we
So
go.
that's his email. So thank you very
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
coming on, and
Thank you.
we would love to have you on again in the future.
We'll be in touch, and we'll definitely do that.
All right, thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thanks.
Blessings.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there he goes. I just wanted to kind of do some last minute thoughts with you before we try to wrap up here at maybe an hour and 30 into it. But I just want to say something that he said there that's very important. I heard another podcaster here recently say, one thing that I've never liked doing is being like, hey, give us money, because it's not about that to me. It's not about that in the least. But I heard another podcaster who is I respect, say that it's value for value. That if you find value, and I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about him and other candidates. It's value for value. If you find value in what a show is doing, if you find value in what we're doing, and I'm not saying like you're like, well, I think that they're worth $3, but if you feel called to, make a membership or do a membership, or you feel called to give a couple bucks here and a super comment or whatever, that's very important, because that kind of stuff helps us continue the cause and continue doing that. But when you're talking about elected officials, I mean, obviously, if you find value in an elected official's message, if you find value in what they're saying, if you find value in them as a person, there's nothing wrong in giving value back to them. And the way of doing that is donating. And people's like, I would never donate, or I don't have the money to do that. And I know that times are tight, and I know that things are wild for people, and we are living in unprecedented times. But think about the amount of money that we waste. Even the people out there that are like, man, it's tight. How many cartons of cigarettes we buy, you know, the crap, you know, that we put in our body, or just various things. You know, if you find value in these things, even the pennies add up. So even if you give very little amounts to these people, it all goes to something very important. And value for value giving, in my opinion, is very big. And I thought that's an interesting way to look at that. And so, you know, whether it's Jon Schrock or some other candidate that will be running in your area, local, federal, or local, state, or federal, you know, that's important. But that's just kind of what I wanted to say there.
Stumblefoot, are you asking me what I got out of all that? First of all, that dude is passionate.
Yeah, he is.
It's awesome. I
Yeah.
know you're definitely the one who's more familiar with him. You'd sent me some
Yeah.
stuff. It's funny, I haven't been on here for a while. So sometimes I'm like, wait, I'm not watching an episode. I'm on an episode. But he's going, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, yeah, I really like that. I mean,
Wait, I'm on camera.
yeah, but hopefully I wasn't picking my nose or anything. I think everyone would have told me if I was. But no, I think it's really interesting. I mean, he says a lot of the same stuff we've been saying, you know, as far as how the party's not listening to people, they're not doing the things they're supposed to be doing. And it's just kind of interesting just listening to him talk. It's being a pastor, he obviously has no issues speaking in public, or I mean, like you said, he's got a God-given talent for that. He could, I mean, very passionate, easy to, well spoken. I mean, he just kind of goes through it, doesn't get hung up, and gets his message out. So I think he's going to be an interesting candidate. I don't know if the Republican Party has someone else in mind that's going to run. I think he said right now it's open, but I think he'd be pretty good.
Yeah, it's, you know, and it's very interesting to me. It's very interesting to me, you know, because people get so particular about specific things. Listen, I feel like a lot of people think that they're looking for someone that you're going to agree with 100% of the time, and that's not going to happen.
No, unless it's you.
Yeah, right. Well, hell, I disagree with myself some of the times, or I'll
like,
think,
I was wrong.
Did I say that? Like, I better back that back. You know, I don't know if that's right or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I changed my mind. You know, I say that on here a lot when it's reference us, but like, you'll get people out there, and you all know who they are. They like, there's a specific a sister of an elected official right now who's extremely mouthy, and I'm thinking, if she would just shut up, we probably agree about things like 80% of the same. We just disagree on her family member, but we probably agree on like 80% of other crap. But it's like, she's like, no, you know, you're horrible. And it's like, no, nobody disagrees with somebody 100% of the time. And nobody is going to agree with anybody 100% of the time. So specifically in politics, you've got to kind of find, you know, the things that you can deal with, and you might not disagree. You know, there are people in here I know that probably absolutely do not like how religious he was, but that's his bent. You know, you don't have to necessarily agree, but if you like the political things that he was saying, maybe he checks that box for you. None of you more than likely are going to be, well, it's YouTube. I sometimes forget I'm not on Facebook. I was going to say, none of you are going to be voting for him. I mean, I guess some of you could be. I like his message, and to me, what I think is empowering is his message about, you know, people needing to get involved and doing all of that stuff. And for the longest time, I didn't like when people say, if you're not involved, then shut up, because I never liked that. But we're to a point now where I kind of like am embracing that. I kind of embracing that thought. because we're to the point where people need to, I'm separating people out. We need to get involved. And if you're not involved, you're part of the problem, kind of, because we are to that point. So I don't know.
Yeah, I get frustrated. I don't think everyone has to run for office. And
Right.
But I mean, the thing that frustrated me is like, at least, because a lot of people don't even do and I'm not trying to crap on people, but a lot of people don't even do the slightest amount of research, and they'll go
Yep.
out and vote and be like, "Oh, that name's familiar. Yeah, whatever, good enough." And it's like I've been bad about it in the past. I'm not trying to be judgmental. Like when I first started voting, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to vote now because I'm old enough to vote." And I'm like, I don't even know who these people are.
Yeah.
But I'm to the point now. It's like if I don't know you or I don't support you, I'm just going to leave that one blank. But I think that's the thing. People feel they have to vote in every spot, but no, we definitely need to be more involved, at least more educated. And I think that's one of the things he spoke on that I liked is he's like, we need to educate people. When people become educated, they become more passionate. And I agree with that 100% because that's basically how it happened for me, right? The
Sure.
more you hear about this stuff, the more you know. And that's the same in everything. Like that, it's the same in sports, right? You learn who the players are and the teams and the coaches, and you start to get more involved in it and more excited about it. I mean, if you don't understand the game, you don't care. Same thing.
That's exactly right. That's I always say on here that there periodically my dad would be watching a ball game and I'd be like, "Hey, who do you want to win?" He's like, "I don't care about either team. I'm rooting for the roof to cave in." And it's it's very much like that. If you don't have a dog in the fight or you don't understand what's going on, you're not going to care. And that's something that people need to know. You can leave the stinking ballot blank. You could go in and get a ballot and leave it blank and cast it off, and it could be that's a vote of no confidence. You can go in and vote for one person, bullet vote for one person. You can vote for two people on there. You don't have to vote everybody down. People need to understand. You need to get registered now if you're not registered, because you can't do that always. You only have an appointment up until April. You got to do that. We're in a filing period now if you want to run for office. But the other thing is, a lot of people talk about the elected officials and they say, well, they only come around here every 2 or 4 years or 6 years if it's judge candidates or Senate. They only come around here when election time, and then we don't hear anything from them. But then those same people say, well, I vote every 4 years. And it's like, yeah, but what else do you do? If your vote, it's like it's two sides of the same broken coin, I guess. If they're only coming around every 4 years, but you're only voting every 4 years, and neither one of you are doing the stuff in the middle, you're both part of the problem. They need to be doing more in between the elections, but as citizens, we need to be doing more during the elections. Watch your council meetings, watch your commissioners meetings, go to the Indiana General Assembly and look at what's going on at the State House, or go to the Ohio General Assembly, or the whatever they do in Texas or Utah or Louisiana or whatever those weird other states are, that are out there. Go to your state government and look at what your state officials are doing and know what's going on with your United States senator, your representatives that are going to Washington, D.C. You need to really learn that stuff and get involved with what's happening. Utah's not weird.
Utah's not weird. The thing that's crazy is when we're getting more and more representatives in our local area, because that's basically what I follow primarily, but they're making it impossible for you to work with them. Like,
yes,
you hit the point where it's like, all right, our only option is to replace you with someone who's actually going to do the job. I mean, I basically already said it, but I mean, when you're calling the police because people are trying to spread what you're saying, when you're trying to hide the meetings or put them in private places so you know that you can kick people out when you need to if they say something you don't like, or when they're blocking you on Facebook and not responding to calls and emails, your only recourse then is to support the person who's going to replace them, whether that be you or someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was listening to a Jon Schrock interview that he did. I was listening to it last night, And either he or the host, one of them said, everybody's worried about what's going on with Joe Biden, and everybody's worried about Trump, or everybody's worried about Kamala Harris, and all of these people that you see on TV, everybody, but nobody gives a piss about what's going on with your local government or your state government. And folks, I'm telling you, you need to be worried about it all, but the people that are touching you and affecting you more on a daily basis, it is not Joe Biden, and it's not Donald Trump. It is your mayors and your city council and your county council and your county commissioners. It's those people, and it's your state. It's your, their state government is probably most pathetic. The state representatives and state senators, they put so little time into what they actually are doing, and they have such a drastic change. These people aren't police officers. These people aren't lawyers. They're half-assed farmers and half-assed insurance guys and retired people that are going down, and they're making state law in a couple of months before they got to quick get out and collect money so they can campaign again. And these people have the ability to vastly and wildly impact our lives, and that's what people need to be paying attention to.
Yep.
So there was something else here that someone had said. I'm still looking in. I know that there were a lot of people talking about. Ryan was bringing up the Stephen Hargrave. And there were people saying, like, "What are you talking about?" He's the gentleman that was speaking during that county commissioners meeting about that program here in Muncie, about the Church of God Restoration and that thing. I'm still looking into all of that. I've got some stuff going on with that. And look at this. Look at this.
How dare you?
I'm still looking into some of that. I've got some people that have messaged me and asked me what's going on with the fire, the chief and the deputy, his wife in Hamilton Township. I recently just got a correspondence back from the state police, and I'm waiting for them to give me some information. I've still got some record requests into Delaware County for some stuff pertaining to the great abate debate that Brando came up with.
That's brilliant.
That's going to be a brilliant title when we do that. The great abate debate.
Mm-hmm.
I love saying it, and I just hope I don't get stumbled over and bring in any M's into it. But anyways, so we're going to be talking about that, and I've still got a record request for Henry County. So we've got some big things coming up here, as well as we are in the middle of the filing period still. And I did not get a chance. I was preparing some stuff. We just this morning, unfortunately, had a death in the family on my mother's side. And so we've been kind of dealing with that stuff. But so I'm going to call tomorrow and find out who's filed in places. But if you're interested, or you know someone that's interested in filing, the filing period is currently going, and it's going until noon on Friday, February 9th. The registration period for voting is open. You can go there, www.indianavoters.com. And there was one. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say, and I don't know if she's still here or not, but the guest that we had on last night, I probably maybe the second or third guest that I've had the most amount of people contact me and say, man, we really like to hear what she had to say, and she was really passionate, and that's cool that she's getting involved. And so Brianna, if you're out there and you're listening to this still, I've got a lot of people from your area and outside of your area that have called and said, man, she was on fire, and we're glad that you had her on. And so keep doing what you're doing, because those are big things. So you know, and there's a lot of people spoke out. We have guests on periodically, and people will message and email and be like, I really love that show, or I really hated that, or whatever. No one's really ever said that, but yeah, we've had a lot of people contact me and said that they really loved what she did. I know she had a tough day, and that's why I was saying this, because I have been contacted when I got back to my phone, had my phone in my hand. I had a shit ton of messages from people saying like she was kick ass. So I just wanted to pass that message along. Thank you about the thoughts and prayers. What was the other thing? Yes. Like Kate said, if you need help or your candidate needs help filing or looking through don't turn in paperwork that's wrong, because they will kick you off the ballot. They will
Yeah,
do
if you're
that.
competent, they will.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Right.
You're a complete idiot who sucks up to the party. They don't even care if you turn it in at all.
Yes. And so that's important. And that you message me, call me, take a picture of it and send it to the email that Kate provided. We'll help you out with that. I've got a couple people that I've said that I'll help out. Catherine's saying she's willing to help out. So there are people out here that'll help you. And yeah, other than that, we're glad that we were able to see Brandon.
Yeah, this is the AI Brandon. That'd be awesome if, like, the last minute, like, I raise up my hand, it's got the 6 fingers, because you know how the AI always screws up the hands.
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome twist.
You're able to like pull your face off.
Yeah.
Or you went into those like really evil, like they turn really evil looking. You know how like it devolves if you look at those AI.
What was
AI
that weird thing we were looking at that one time with the weird? it had that weird name or whatever. It was like the weird jacked up faces, and like it kept getting scarier and scarier. That gave me like nightmares, dude. That was freaking me out.
What are you talking about?
We did an episode about like AI or something.
AI, yes, that thing was crazy. It was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they found some kind of word, and then they were like tell it to like make an image of it, and it'd be like weird, like scary looking people.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I thought you were talking about the thing that had the curtain front and behind a curtain.
Oh, that was it. Skittles.
That was amazing.
That was my favorite clip. I laughed at myself so many times watching the short.
Yes.
I don't think that Brandon will be taking the entire month of February off. I think he'll be here, hopefully, at least on February 1st for a very special guest, because we are having visited my political crush on.
And Brandon's political crush.
Yes.
I don't know. It's my birth month. I usually take that off.
I know.
Donald Rainwater.
That's how I go.
What a great way to open your birthday month with.
Ooh, that is a good idea.
Rainwater, February 1st.
Yeah.
Isn't February 1st April Fool's Day?
What is wrong with this guy?
I said that, and as it came out, I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Oh, see, no, it's leap year, so you're still only technically taking an actual February off if you come on the 1st.
Oh, so I don't even lose a day. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I like Don Rainwater. Yeah, I'll definitely.
February 1st is kind of like January 32nd.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever
or
you
April
say.
1st. It's actually it's the real April 1st. That was stupid. I'm going to edit that out. I'm going to make that a short. I promise you.
Oh my god. What was my favorite edit job? You've done like 2 of them. The one was I won't describe exactly what it was, but I told a story that we wanted to eliminate, and you're like, I was like, I'm going to talk about this, or maybe I won't, and then it just clips to like after the story.
Yes, I remember that.
So it's completely killed. And another one was what was it you did? I told a whole story, and I was like, I want to get rid of that. And then did you put in like sound effects or something over it? And you're just like, yep,
yes. And then probably one of my favorite is when the guy told me to say happy birthday.
I was watching that one live, and I was like, oh God, Chris, stop doing it. Like I caught it immediately, and I was like, oh no.
I didn't get it till I sang it.
Huh?
Because when I said it the first time, I said it like with a cadence that was far enough apart and I didn't catch it. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
said it. And then when I sang it, I was like,
Oh.
oh crap.
That was Mr. Gar or whatever.
Yes, that was horrible. Good God. So I was able to edit it right out. It was amazing. Hey, you want to see a laugh? Oh man, it's a shame. Man, what an asshole. I hate him. Never mind. Ruined so many good moments. We had one laugh that was just a short of all of us laughing. Kate was laughing, Brandon was laughing, I was laughing. Some asshole we used to know, he was laughing. We were all just laughing, and it was like a good minute laugh of just laughter. And it was amazing. That just laugh. That was when Danny got yelled at.
You remember that one where I was on screen and I don't know what it was, but I looked off to the side and I like thought of something funny and I was just like laughing to myself. You guys were like, "What happened then? What happened to you?" Like, there's like a glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what it was. I just like thought of something that like just kind of tickled me and I just started laughing.
Right.
I don't know what it was.
Oh God, I love it.
We'll see.
I tell
if
you, that
post
used to
your
be
newest one.
Which one?
The newest one. We'll see if it goes.
Oh
public.
yeah.
That one.
Oh yeah.
That one's pretty good too.
This one.
Oh, are you gonna play it?
You can premiere it, I guess.
Yeah.
No,
this one
you're gonna premiere a short.
Here. I'm gonna play the. I will. What's going on here? Okay.
Exactly right.
So here's what I need. I need Kate. When I say go, can you pull that up on the screen? Don't do it yet. Wait till I say go. All right, go. Hey, John, listen, because I know that you're listening, and I know that I know that your weirdo FNG senses are tingling, sitting around, probably rubbing your nipples in your very small uniform right now, off duty. And I know that you think that you've done something here, but I think that it's really scary to hear you lay out a statement such as this, to know that you write police reports and you're able to just lie so freely.
Cersei.
Oh God,
someone's gonna bitch and whine about that one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I cannot wait. They were talking about having clip of it. I was like, well, I can find. Hey, it was Kate that found that clip, and
Kate worked hard to find that clip.
Yeah, she worked for days.
Like, oh my God, Kate, find already. We're tired of hearing about it.
Yeah, right. What's amazing to me is that's just a few seconds. So, matter of fact, I know exactly. It's 38 seconds because that's how long the short is. And so, can you believe that? Police lie. What? But yeah, it's amazing that somebody was able to find that and know that. And it's sick because we've got hardcore fans that don't listen to every second the way that some of our enemies do.
Hey, it's minutes. So it's watched hours.
Yeah, right. Thank you for all of your watch time to the Sporks family. All right. Well, okay. Brandon, you got anything else?
Okay, good.
Good. Kate, you got anything? She said good down there too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Share the show. A lot of people need to hear this episode. You can also let them know that there are 2 other episodes basically that kind of deal with Mr. Schrock. One where I broke it down and talked about it, and that was from January 3rd. That's the nothing episode. And then there's actually a video up of his actual presentation. Sometimes it's a little hard to hear, but it's good enough. So, and we don't have Sproul's shorts yet. I'm still looking on the spring store about making Sproul shorts, but we're going to find some Sproul shorts to put on there because the Political Spotlight does have the best Sproul shorts around. So I will keep you guys posted. You guys, what?
Extra tiny.
extra
They're
tiny.
always sold ill-fitting.
Yes. If you want to check any of that out, you can go to do you need official merch to show that you love or hate the Political Spotlight? If so, click the following link, and it's down there. You can also find it in the description, so it's very easy. It has to be the 1970s basketball shorts.
I love the ideas of our enemies, or your enemies, our enemies. The Political Spotlight enemies buying the merch, just like, look at what they're making.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing is, that's the reason we definitely made that one that said "Stupid Bilbrey." I think I want to make one that actually says "I hate Stupid Bilbrey." I think that would be good. I would have a shirt that said "I hate Stupid Bilbrey" that had my face on it. That would be amazing.
That actually be pretty good.
But oh yeah. I can only imagine going to court and saying like them holding it up. Can you see what he's making? And it's got the Jon in a clown wig with a red nose, Sproul's watch. And I want to say something real quick. She actually had these people. I don't understand what they think. I don't understand how their brains work. She was like, he's fighting a lawsuit about a First Amendment violation because he's kicked off of a page that he was actually able to bring up on a live podcast. Do you not think that people send me screenshots of that shit? Are you for real? Or do you not, like, I've actually got people out there that have said, hey, bro, I'll give you the login to my Facebook and you can go on there and look at it and screenshot anything you need. Do you not think that people have done that? They think that that's going to like win them the case. My attorney already knows that. Chill out. You'll be cool.
I like the idea of he's not in the wrong.
Yes.
But at the same time, as soon as you sued him, he completely changed his website and deleted a bunch of posts to make him look less guilty.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, everything I'm doing is fine and above board. Oh shit, I better delete and change a whole bunch of stuff because I'm right and I'm above board.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is that yesterday they were calling it me talking about an entire county losing its insurance is a red herring. And you and Kate were talking about, like, I don't think she understands the what that means exactly.
I think that's exactly what she was doing. It's like, hey, they're losing the insurance. She's like, oh yeah, well, you knew someone who did bad things. It's like,
right.
huh? It's like you're trying to avoid talking about that. It's like there's no news on that. You've talked about it every time there's news. Okay. So news today, still in jail. Okay, now on to what happened in Henry County. Like update. Still in jail. Okay, moving
jail
on.
Watch. Oh, good.
You're going to avoid that so that you don't have to tell people he's still in jail. Yeah,
that's amazing. All right. Well, that's it. You guys, we'll be back here. What is today? 15th. Tomorrow is the 16th, Tuesday the 16th. If you're watching live, if you're not watching live, it doesn't matter. Don't pay attention to this. But you guys take care. God bless. We'll see you at 9 p.m. live every night of the week except Friday, Saturday. So that's Sunday through Thursday. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good night, and we will see you next time. Goodbye. Hey, stick around there real quick. I got something to tell you.
I like the stumbles that called me Rain Brandon. That was good. Just picture me in the thumbnail. I look so into the...
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, God, he looks like he's pissed off.
Yeah, look on that.
Next time I'll put the microphone in front of your face. Oh, yeah.
Oh, like my earlier legislative update? It's a snowblower right now, someone will
I'm going to make a bit, I'm going to make the thing that's going to weed whacker.
Oh, we know you can hear it.